Hello everyone, welcome back. Please comment, subscribe, folks. Comment, subscribe, like the videos. Also share the videos. I want to thank everyone that does like, watch, and share my videos. You folks are the absolute best. Listen, folks, there's a link tree down below. It has the link to all of my social media pages. Please go down there and follow me across all of my social media platforms. Talk to me and I will talk back. Also down there as well is my YouTube pages. Please go down there. Check out all those YouTube pages, watch my videos, give my videos a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel as well, and turn on your notifications. Click that bell so that when I post content, you folks will be in the know. So I want to thank everyone that gets involved with those links any way that they can. Now with that said and done and put to the side, I'm going to talk to you folks today about Deshaun Watson officially requesting a trade from the Houston Texans. The situation has gotten really ugly with the Texans and Deshaun Watson. For those of you that may not know, here's a little background. Deshaun Watson wanted to be a part of picking, some of the new staff that was going to be in place, with the Texans. We know that they fired their head coach, they got rid of their general manager. So Deshaun Watson wanted to be consulted. He wanted his opinion, to be in consideration for whoever they would pick. Well, the Texans did not do that. They went on and hired Nick Caserio without even consulting him, and that seemed to send Deshaun Watson over the moon, okay? Let me tell you. That seemed to really put him, beside himself, and we started seeing the subtweets start. He said he went from 2 to 10. Things got really, really, tense around there, and that's where we started to hear that he was extremely frustrated with the franchise, and, there's a possibility that he would not be wanting to be there. A lot of people were speculating, well, maybe if they hired, the right coach, because Eric Bieniemy was a guy that, he was fond of. Well, they also went on to hire David Culley from the Ravens, who's the Raven passing game coordinator. And it seems like a little time after that, Deshaun Watson comes out and officially asks for the trade, from the Houston Texans. Now, again, with other reports have come out and talked about, it didn't matter who they would have hired a head coach. He no longer wanted to be with the Texans. So Culley wasn't the breaking point. It wasn't the straw that broke the camel's back, but Deshaun was done. Like, he's done. He does not want to be there. He's made it publicly known. He's made it privately known with the Texans franchise. He does not want to be there. He wants to be traded. So there was a lot of reports, and there was a lot of conflicting reports that started to come out. Started to hear people talk about how, Deshaun's list of teams that he wanted to be on, the Jets were number 1, the Dolphins were number 2. Then there were other people saying that the Jets, was not on this list at all. Then there was other people saying that, the Dolphins were number 1. He's always wanted to play for the Dolphins. The Dolphins are going to be the team that's going to end up with him. Then you got Jets beat writers saying that the Jets are not even interested whatsoever. The Jets are not going to be the team he's going to end up with. So reports are all over the place about, where he, would want to go or will end up. But one thing that is ring true, though, according to everybody, is the second that he asked for that trade, the phones in Houston rung off the hook. I mean, there were teams calling from everywhere saying, hey, are you dealing him? And what can we do? How can we get involved? There was a lot of teams that popped up that weren't, necessarily, out there at first, as possible places for him to land. Carolina came up in the conversation, and apparently Carolina is willing to get extremely aggressive to land Deshaun Watson and have him be a Panther. So there's a lot of teams that are going to be vying for his services, and a lot of teams that are going to be after him. Then all of a sudden today, Nick Caserio comes out during the introductory press conference of Culley and says that they have zero interest in trading Deshaun Watson. They have no interest in moving him, and they're wanting to move forward with him as a Houston Texan. Now it's getting even uglier because we all know, again, Deshaun Watson don't want to be there. He said it publicly, on tweets, and he said it privately when he asked for a trade. So he's letting everybody in the building, outside the building, everybody on planet Earth know, I do not want to play for the Texans. I want out of here. So a lot of people are looking at that situation and saying, that's probably a smokescreen. You're probably just saying that to drive up the price of Deshaun Watson. We've seen that across various franchises as well. We did that with Jamal Adams. I remember Joe Douglas coming out saying, hey, we want Jamal to be a Jet for life and so on and so forth. And we got rid of him as soon as possible because he went full-blown nut job. The Vikings did that with Stephon Diggs as well. Stephon Diggs, we want him to be a Viking for forever, and we love Stephon, and we want to move on, yeah, and then they send him to the Bills. There's so many other teams that have done that. So a lot of people are saying, this could be a smokescreen. They don't think that the Texans will stick their foot in the sand and try to, continue to force this situation. I want to look at it from both sides, though, because let's say that Nick Caserio and this Texans franchise is willing to, really put their foot down and say, listen, we understand you want out of here. We understand maybe you don't like this place as much as, you could, but let me tell you something. They're trying to convince him to stay. They try to convince him to be around and to stick with the franchise and be the face of the franchise for the foreseeable future going forward. Here's the deal. Deshaun signed a deal in September that has him with the Texans through 2025, okay? He does have a no-trade clause, though. That's one thing that works in his benefit. So they can't really just send him anywhere that he doesn't want to go. But at the same time, if they do send him somewhere that he maybe is not as fond of as other places, they could go, well, okay, look, this is a team that offered us, the capital that we wanted, or more capital than everybody else. This is a team that we can send you to. If you don't want to go there, then you can be a Houston Texan. That's something that they could say, because not only do they have him signed through 2025, they also could possibly franchise him for 3 more years after that. So he could end up being there until 2028. That's a long time, man. That's a long time. And if he opts out, if he opts to not report, if he misses mandatory team activities like mini camp, that's almost $96,000 that they can fine him. They can also fine him $50,000 for training camp. If he misses like preseason games as well, that's $620,000 that they can fine him. If he just decides that he wants to retire, because he's just tired of dealing with this nonsense and he's just going to walk away, they could collect $21.6 million. Now, I don't know, if Deshaun would do that again. According to a lot of people, that have been around him or are around him currently, he's a guy that when he says something, he sticks to it. And he's willing to stick his foot in the sand as well and dig in. So if he doesn't want to be a Texan, he's not, going to be a Texan, and he will dig in. So that's an interesting side. If the Texans try to keep him, it can get even worse. It can get even worse, and who knows where the value would go there. The other side of it is, if they decide to trade him, I truly believe that this will be a historic haul. A historic haul, because I don't think we've ever seen something like this in the entire, history of the NFL, where you have a young quarterback that's 25, in the prime of his career. He's the face of a franchise. He's an elite quarterback in this league, which we all know that quarterback in the NFL is the most important position in all of the NFL. It's a position that is so unbelievably valued. It's completely crazy. We've seen people literally trade away multiple drafts just for a shot in the draft at grabbing a guy that they believe is going to work out. They believe has the potential. This is a guy that not only, people believe has even more potential than what we've seen, but that he's shown that, dude, he's a top 5 QB. Some people believe that he's the best QB in the league. He's already the best QB that the Houston Texans have ever had in their franchise history. He's made 3 Pro Bowls, and he's healthy. I mean, it's insane. The haul that they could get back if they decide to move him and they don't keep him is going to be unbelievable. And that's why I have a tough time, thinking that the Jets will land him. Because there's a lot of fans, and I'm not trying to disrespect anybody, there's a lot of fans that think that we're going to get Deshaun Watson for 2 honey buns and a bag of chips. And that is not how it's going to work out. I don't believe that whatsoever. And simply because he doesn't want to be there doesn't mean that they won't be able to get the value back. Because let me tell you something, Jamal Adams didn't want to be here. Jamal Adams did everything in his power to get out of here. From telling random people that he wanted to be a Dallas Cowboy when he was still signed to us, from doing interviews with beat writers and telling them the inner workings of the franchise and how our head coach was, he didn't like our head coach. There was issues in the locker room. He also called Joe Douglas a liar and said that he offered a deal and then reneged. He also was on Twitter, bashing the fan base. Anytime they would ask him to stay, he would tell them to let it go. All kinds of crazy stuff. And we still traded him for 2 first-round picks and got some mid-rounders back as well. So when you talk about a quarterback of this stature being on the market, dude, you better get ready to open your wallet and give the Texans what they want. Because let me tell you, he's going to demand, quite a bit. His talent is going to demand that much. The no trade clause will definitely come into play as well. I don't know if exactly what his list is. Again, who knows where he actually wants to go. But let me tell you something. This is going to be tough, and it's going to be a murky situation. It's going to get nasty. I really, truly believe it's going to get nasty. I just think the Texans are going to try to send him to wherever gives them the most value. That's truly what I believe. I think that's what they're going to do. So please comment down below. Let me know what you folks think. Let me know how you feel about this situation. Would you still be in the running for Deshaun Watson, knowing all these teams are going to be vying? Would you be willing to give up? There's a lot of trade proposals thrown out there that a lot of people were saying no to, that I think you're going to probably have to give up something around there as well to get him. There's a lot of things to talk about. So please comment down below. Let me know what you folks think. You folks have a good one. Peace.